is the real Andrew Cuomo. To some, he was the strong, steady hand that led New York through the darkest days of the pandemic, a national symbol of leadership when chaos ruled. To others, he's the embodiment of everything wrong with American politics: ego, power, and denial disguised as duty. But behind the Emmy Awards, the press conferences, and the headlines lies a story of ambition that became arrogance. And tonight, on World Leaders, we ask the question that divides millions. Should Andrew Cuomo ever be trusted to lead again? Andrew Cuomo was born into politics. Literally. The son of Mario Cuomo, New York's legendary governor, he grew up watching power from the front row. He learned early that politics wasn't about compromise. It was about dominance. As HUD secretary under President Clinton, Cuomo was ambitious, sharp, and relentless. He spoke of housing reform, but left behind critics who said he prioritized image over impact. When he finally became governor in 2011, many saw him as destined, a man born for the job. But destiny, as history often shows, has a cost. In 2020, the world stopped, and Cuomo stepped in. His daily briefings, calm tone, and data-driven approach made him a national figure. Americans watched as he reassured a frightened public, projecting confidence when the federal government faltered. He became America's governor. He won an Emmy. He published a book celebrating his leadership, while the crisis was still happening. But behind the calm voice and polished image, another truth was unfolding, one that would shatter the myth he built. In early 2021, investigations revealed that Cuomo's administration underreported thousands of nursing home deaths during the pandemic. The accusation? His team deliberately altered data to protect his reputation, even as families mourned in silence. Critics said he prioritized optics over lives, that his administration forced COVID-positive patients back into nursing homes, turning them into death traps. For many New Yorkers, that was the moment the illusion cracked. The man who claimed to be transparent had buried the truth under political calculation. Then came the storm. Multiple women, former aides, colleagues, and staff accused Cuomo of sexual harassment and intimidation. The state attorney general's report described a toxic workplace where fear, manipulation, and silence ruled. Cuomo denied wrongdoing, calling it misinterpretation. But to many, his defense sounded eerily familiar. The language of entitlement, not accountability. In August 2021, he resigned under pressure, defiant, unrepentant, still blaming cancel culture. It wasn't just about inappropriate behavior, it was about power used without restraint. Throughout his career, one word has followed Cuomo: control. He controlled his image. He controlled his inner circle. He controlled how state agencies reported data, how allies spoke, how critics were punished. He ruled not through collaboration, but coercion. And while that style worked in times of crisis, it poisoned governance in the long run. Real leadership lifts others. Cuomo's leadership, critics argue, crushed them. So why shouldn't Andrew Cuomo be reelected? Because leadership is more than charisma. It's about character. And when tested, his failed. A man who manipulates data during a public health crisis should not lead. A man accused of abusing those who work for him should not hold public trust. A man who treats accountability as a personal insult should not control millions of lives. America needs humility in leadership, not hubris dressed as experience. And Cuomo's record shows a dangerous pattern. When power meets ego, truth dies quietly. Andrew Cuomo is not a villain. He's a warning, a reminder that good intentions can rot in the presence of unchecked power. He once promised to rebuild trust in government. Instead, he became the example of why trust is so hard to find. So who is the real Andrew Cuomo? A man who could have been great, but couldn't stop believing his own myth. This is World Leaders, where power is never what it seems, and truth always finds its way through the cracks. Subscribe, because behind every leader's rise lies the story of their fall.